Hello, my name is Philip Van Azarbold. In this block here, we had to use many different skills to get the result that we wanted. The programming part was really important, which we learned over the last blocks, but also improved in this block. We had to work with many matrices in this time that we learned to improve over last blocks. Also, what was very important was the math part that we needed to analyze the equations and write them differently so we get a result with which we can calculate the rest. The physics part was always important to the challenge because we not only learned that we have to do it, we also learn how to apply it and on the problem. And so we had to use our knowledge from the last blocks about magnetic fields and everything from the last blocks to get the results using the laws and rules that we learned. To find out the magnetic field and displacement, which we learned mostly in the last two partials, we used the knowledge that we got from that to determine our magnetic fields to the challenge and graphed them with our knowledge in MATLAB. This challenge was mainly by the law of Faraday and the law of Lenz. In my opinion, we learned everything that we needed to know to finish the challenge, but it was hard to remember everything, and so we had to research some things again and get them back in our mind and know how to write them and solve it. The challenge was full of different parts of the blocks, and we learned it. We learned, and so it took time to get them together. But in my opinion, we learned everything that we needed over time. The analysis part was also interesting because we got to read about new things that we directly applied into the challenge. So it was the overall package. The main problems that we had were MATLAB. It doesn't always work in the way that you want, and it takes time to make something work. It is always a personal challenge to program there and makes it perfectly work without a mistake. The worst technical problems was the import file at first, which we had to deal with and solved it with a new function that we created to import the file that we had to do. The worst technical problems, furthermore, the layout of the motor was hard to do because it took time to create it, and that was also a personal challenge of your mind. But overall, it was okay with some difficulties that we could solve with time and looking for the mistake we made and trying to improve it so it won't happen again. But the hardest part was the matrices because at some point it didn't work, and so we had to try out different approaches where we changed some things and make the program work. Everything else then fell into place, and we got out beautiful graphs and a perfect program. The challenge gave us perfect perspective about problems we could have in companies of our own and how to approach them and then solve it. It got us into thinking how to approach these problems and what we can make the best to solve them and everything. Also, it was good we got to combine the knowledge of technical understanding and mathematical understanding. It gave us the it gave us a global perspective about the situation and also how to solve them to some degrees, which we learned in this title. It helped us understand more complex problems and find solutions to them, and so it brought us furthermore in our process of thinking of our process in the university. We used outside of the box thinking to get the challenge as smooth and perfect done as possible, and so it was an amazing process that we had, and it was amazing how we learned it and everything, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.